Have you ever paused to consider the profound simplicity of existence? The concept of thusness or suchness invites us to explore the very essence of reality, challenging us to see the world as it truly is, unfiltered by our preconceptions and judgments. This idea, deeply rooted in Buddhist philosophy, beckons us to embrace the present moment and experience life in its raw, unadorned state. Imagine waking up one morning, your senses alive and alert. As you open your eyes, you're struck by the sheer wonder of existence, the soft light filtering through your curtains, the gentle hum of the world outside, the feeling of your breath moving in and out. All these sensations combine to create a tapestry of experience that is both ordinary and extraordinary. That is, in essence, this is the heart of thusness. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, my platform from a perspective formed from a journey around the world through life, crossing a wide spectrum of human experience from high to low, as most people in American society define them. This channel is all about inspiring common people to find their power and place their uniqueness in their lives. Much of the research and understandings I've come upon in my journey involve biblical scripture as well as that of mystics, scientists, philosophers, and exceptional people like Carl Jung, Wim Hof, Alan Watts, Maurice Nicoll, G.I. Gurdjieff, Peter Ospensky, Rudolf Steiner, and many others. Much of their work is not all that relatable today, but highly relevant. I've been updating it and sharing it here, hopefully to ease the way for others who are also dealing with complex PTSD or have a calling to pursue their uniqueness or have a friend or loved one in such a place. Some of my work feels original here, but these individuals deserve much of the credit. But why should you care about such an abstract concept as thusness? Our fast-paced, global-orientated world, we often lose touch with the simple beauty of being. We're constantly chasing after the next big thing, convinced that happiness lies just around the corner. But what if true contentment is already here, waiting for us just to notice it? So the idea of thusness invites us to pause, to take a step back from our relentless pursuit of more, and to appreciate the richness of life as it is, as it unfolds before us. It's about seeing the world with fresh eyes, like a child discovering everything for the first time, remembering when a simple cardboard box could become a spaceship or a castle or a secret hideout. But let's be clear, this isn't about passivity or resignation. It's not about accepting everything as it is and never striving for change. Rather, it's about engaging with life from a place of clarity and presence. When we see things as they truly are without the distortions of our fears, desires, and preconceptions, we're better equipped to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and compassion. Think about a time when you were fully absorbed in an activity, perhaps playing music, creating art, or even having a heartfelt conversation with a friend. And in those moments, there's no separation between you and what you're doing. You're not thinking about the past or worrying about the future. You're simply here in the now, fully alive and present in the moment. That's thusness in action. Now, you might be wondering, how does how do you do that? And how does this relate to my everyday life? I've got bills to pay, deadlines to meet, and a million things on my to-do list. And you're right, life is full of practical demands and we can't ignore them. But the beauty of thusness is that it can be applied to any situation, no matter how mundane. Imagine washing the dishes, for example. Most of us rush through this chore, eager to get it over so it can move on to something more interesting. But what if we approached it with a mindset of thusness? We might notice the warmth of the water on our hands, the gleam of the bubbles in the light, the satisfaction of seeing a dirty plate become clean. Suddenly, this everyday task becomes an opportunity for mindfulness and appreciation. This shift in perspective can have profound effects on our well-being. When we're constantly chasing after the future goals or dwelling in past regrets, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. We become like hamsters on a wheel, running and running, but never really getting anywhere. Thusness offers us a way off that wheel, a chance to step into the fullness of our lives here, right now. But let's be honest, this isn't always so easy. Our minds are conditioned to judge, to categorize, to seek out problems to solve. We're hardwired to be on the lookout for threats and opportunities, which we can make it challenging to simply be with what is. That's why practices like meditation and mindfulness can be so helpful. They train our minds to stay present, to observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. Think of it like learning to swim. At first, you might struggle against the water, thrashing about and exhausting yourself. But as you learn to relax and float, you discover the water can support you in a way that when we stop fighting against reality and learn to move with it, we find a sense of ease and flow that we never knew was possible. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but what about when life gets really tough? What about when we're facing loss, illness, or injustice? These are valid questions, and it's important to acknowledge that thusness isn't about denying the difficulties of life or pretending that everything is perfect. Instead, it's about meeting life's challenges with clarity and presence. When we're not clouded by the usual reactions of fear and anger and avoidance, we can respond to difficult situations more skillfully. We might find strength we didn't know we had or discover creative solutions that weren't apparent before. Consider the story of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camp. In the midst of unimaginable suffering, he found that those who were able to find meaning in their experiences, who could see beyond their immediate circumstances to something greater, were more likely to survive. This isn't to glorify suffering, but to illustrate the power of perspective in even the most dire of situations. Thusness also invites us to reconsider our relationship with change. In our culture, we often resist change, clinging to what's familiar and comfortable. But change is an inherent part of life. Everything in it is in constant flux, from the cells in our body to the stars in the sky. When we embrace thusness, we learn to move with this flow of change rather than against it. It doesn't mean that we become passive or indifferent. On the contrary, when we see things clearly as they are, we're better equipped to take effective action. It's like the difference between swimming against a strong current and learning to navigate with it. When we align ourselves with the reality of a current situation, we can respond more skillfully and with less wasted energy. In the realm of relationships, thusness can be transformative. How often do we project our expectations, fears, and past experiences into the people in our lives rather than seeing them as they truly are? When we practice thusness in our interactions, we create space for genuine connection and understanding. We listen more deeply, we judge less, and we allow others to be who they are without trying to change them. This approach can be powerful, particularly in conflict resolution. Instead of getting caught up in who's right and who's wrong, we can focus on understanding the situation as it is. From this place of clarity, we're more likely to find solutions that work for everyone involved. Thusness also has profound implications for our relationships with ourselves. Many of us carry around an idealized image of who we think we should be, constantly comparing ourselves to this impossible standard and feeling like we're falling short. But what if we could see ourselves with the same clarity and acceptance that thusness brings to our perception of the world? This doesn't mean giving up on a personal growth plan or on self-improvement. Rather, it means starting from a place of honest self-acceptance. When we see ourselves clearly without judgment, we can make changes from a place of wisdom and compassion rather than self-criticism and shame. In the realm of creativity, thusness can be a powerful catalyst. Many artists speak of entering a flow state where they're fully present with their work, allowing it to unfold naturally rather than forcing it into a preconceived form. This is thusness in action, being fully present with what is and allowing something new to emerge from that presence. Even in the world of business and innovation, there's a growing recognition of the value of mindfulness and presence, qualities closely related to thusness. Companies are finding that when employees are more present and aware, they're more creative, more productive, and better able to collaborate with others. As we deepen our understanding and practice of thusness, we may find that it changes our relationship with time itself. Instead of always rushing towards the future or dwelling in the past, we learn to fully inhabit each moment. This doesn't mean we stop planning or reflecting, but rather that we do these things from a place of present awareness. Imagine living each day with this kind of presence and clarity. How might it change the way you interact with your loved ones, approach your work, or engage with the world around you? The possibilities are endless, but it's important to remember that embracing thusness is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. It's not about achieving some perfect state of enlightenment, but about continually returning to the present moment, to things as they are. It's a practice that we can engage in every day in every situation, no matter how mundane or extraordinary. As we cultivate this practice, we may find that life becomes richer, more vibrant, more alive. We may discover a sense of peace and contentment that doesn't depend on external circumstances. We find ourselves more able to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. In essence, thusness invites us to wake up to the fullness of our lives, to the beauty and complexity of each moment in it. It challenges us to let go of our preconceptions and see the world anew. It offers us a path to freedom, not by escaping our circumstances, but by fully embracing them. So as you go about your day, I invite you to experiment with this idea of thusness. Can you bring a sense of presence and curiosity to each moment? Can you see the world around you and yourself with fresh eyes? Can you embrace life as it is while still working towards positive change? Remember, this is not about achieving perfection or reaching some idealized state. It's about cultivating a new way of being in the world, one moment at a time. It's about waking up to the extraordinary nature of ordinary life. In the words of the Zen teacher Senryo Suzuki, when you do something, you should burn yourself completely, like a good bonfire, leaving no trace of yourself. This is the essence of thusness, to be so fully present, so completely engaged in each moment that there's no separation between you and your experience. As we conclude this exploration of thusness, I encourage you to carry this idea with you into your daily life. Let it inform how you approach your work, your relationships, your relationship with yourself. Let it inspire you to live more fully, more authentically, more presently. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.